Hello and welcome to the John Ark Show. Today's episode is called I'm a Marilyn Monroe lookalike. How can I best monetize my beauty? This is also a viewer consultation episode, which means we'll be answering viewer questions. Before we begin, I want to encourage you to subscribe, like, and follow the program, as well as to tell you about a company called HollywoodIsCalling.com. It allows you to purchase live calls from more than 100 celebrities. You can purchase a live 15-second call from a movie star for $19.95, and you can purchase a live 30-second call from your favorite movie star for $29.95. It's a lot of fun. You can buy a gift for yourself, or you can buy it as a gift for somebody you care about. HollywoodIsCalling.com. Give it a try. You'll enjoy it. Now let's get started. Duncan writes, how can I take my boss's job? Well, Duncan, the first thing you should do is to keep increasing your skill sets, your education, and your experience until your boss's boss notices you. That's the key. The next thing you want to do is to keep increasing your social media presence so that significant people in your industry, not just in your company, but in your industry, take note of you. That's how you can maximize your economic opportunities. This should increase your profile, and it should improve your chances of one day getting your boss's job or getting an even better job working for a competitor. That's the ticket. Social media presence elevation. Next, we have a question from Charlene. Charlene writes, everybody keeps telling me how beautiful I am and that I look like Marilyn Monroe and that I have a body like Kim Kardashian. How can I best monetize my looks so as to make the most money with my beauty? I know that sounds like a weird question, but you know, I consider my beauty to be an asset. So how can I best monetize it? Well, first you have to dramatically improve your social media presence. Whatever you're doing now, multiply it by 2 or 3. Spend at least half an hour to an hour a day putting content out on YouTube and Instagram and other social media to let the world know of your existence. Remember, money follows attention. You need attention for money to flow in your direction. Very, very important. Social media is the way you increase your visibility. Next, you have to elevate the quality of the people you associate with and network with. A lot of stunning women make the mistake of thinking their next boyfriend is somehow going to help them financially or transform their lives. That may happen for a little while, but eventually they get wise and they dump you. You should concentrate instead on your own business and accumulating more clients and better financially healed clients with greater resources so they can do more business with you. Lastly, since your beauty is such an asset, you must preserve it at all costs. That means lots of exercise and zero consumption of drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, and sugar. Eat super healthy, exercise as regularly as you can. Stay out of the sun. The sun is not your friend. And by that I mean sunbathing. Don't do it. Nobody sunbathes anymore, but just in case, don't do it. It's, you know, spending an entire Sunday cooking on some yacht. That's not going to do you any favors. Another thing that's really important is always conduct yourself like you're on camera. Assume somebody is always watching you. High profile faces, an extraordinary beauty like yours is always being watched, and you're always being judged. And what are these people looking at you for? They're deciding two things. One, of course, if they want to date you or not. And of course, they all probably do. But more importantly, they're debating whether or not they want to do business with you. That's the judgment that matters. That's the judgment that your financial future hinges on. They look at you and they say, is this a great person that I want to do business with? Is she trustworthy? Will she do what she says? And will she say what she does? That's the key. Next, we have a question from Margaret. Margaret says, is the cemetery business a good business to get into? Well, cemeteries require a lot of land, and land is extremely expensive. You know, the reason there was so many cemeteries built back in the day is because land was more affordable. That's not the case anymore. It appears to me that the cremation business is going to be growing more quickly simply because people cannot afford conventional funeral ceremonies anymore. They can't afford the expensive caskets. They can't afford the theatrics of this funeral ceremony, the pomp and the circumstance. You know, uh, years ago, a cheap funeral could cost 20 or 30 grand. Now it's gone completely insane. The pricing has just risen to such levels that funerals for most middle class people, they're no longer an option. And the poor, a lot of the poor can no longer even afford to bury their dead. That's why you see so many people who unexpectedly lose a loved one. That's why they start GoFundMe pages for these poor people. People, we live in an era where a lot of people can no longer afford to bury their loved ones. It's a tragic commentary on our times, but that is the case. You have to be of substantial means to afford a proper burial and a proper funeral for a loved one. And that's really, really unfortunate, but that is the case for a lot of people today. Next question is from Lily Ann. Lily Ann says, I'm a single mom and my son is getting picked on and beat up at school. What should I do? First, I would send a legal letter to the school letting them know that they'll be held responsible for your son's safety and that if this continues, you will take legal action against them. Secondly, I would have your son begin martial arts training and weight training. Developing skills in both of these areas will improve his strength, confidence, and his ability to defend himself. I believe that, to be honest with you, I believe that most other sports like football and baseball will provide very little value add to his life uh, over the time that he wastes on them. Um, the one thing he will get from a lot of these other sports is cumulative brain trauma. Whether it's light taps to the body or concussions to the head. All of that is cumulative, and all of that will aggregate over time and increase the level of brain trauma that he endures. Um, I really think your son's, when it comes to sports, your son's time is best invested in sports like lifting weights, like running, the heavy cardio exercises which don't result in any impact or injuries. Stay away from football, basketball, baseball, all that nonsense. That's a fast track to nowhere. The statistical probability of landing a contract in the NBA or the world of baseball or football, you're more likely to win a mega lottery ticket than your son is to gain entree into one of those professional fields. It's very unlikely to happen. So keep that in mind. Next, James writes, is it still worth learning a second language in school? Will that help me advance my career? No, I don't believe it will. The only kind of second language that it's really worthwhile to learn in school is a computer language or an advanced mathematical language. These languages, they will give you dramatically more career options. Learning French or Spanish or Chinese, it's really not going to matter. Why? Because artificial intelligence programs like those created by Google and other mega companies, their translator software is now so sophisticated that it's no longer worth the years it takes to master the reading and writing of a foreign language. These software translators are unbelievable, and they're getting better every day. Now, if you go online, go to the Khan Academy or YouTube or Brilliant.org or any one of the countless other free online sources to learn math or computer programming languages. That's where you're going to get a real return on your investment. That's where the big money will be. I believe that the technical skills in programming or math will provide you a huge return on your time. And you're never going to get that kind of return on your investment of time from the learning of additional spoken languages. Nobody cares. It's just not what it used to be. You speak Chinese, you speak Spanish, you speak, you speak other languages. it doesn't matter. All of those communication skills now can be replaced by very sophisticated software that anybody can access on their smartphones. So keep that in mind before you spend 3 or 4 or 5 years learning Chinese, for God's sakes. Next, Kareem writes, I'm an African American who's thinking of opening up his own pizzeria. Do you think Americans will buy pizza from an African American, or should I get an Italian partner? Well, I don't think anyone will care about your ethnic background when they try your pizza. What they will care about is its taste, its price, and the quality of your service. Keep in mind that the pizza business is ultra difficult and ultra competitive. So you're going to have to figure out a way to beat your competition with some kind of niche. Mark Cuban, a billionaire Mark Cuban, bought a pizza company called Naked Pizza. Why? Because he thought the name and the service was unique enough, had enough of a niche to help him make some money with it. Well, you need a niche of some sort as well. That's got to be your key. So with that, I want to say thank you, and we will talk to you soon.